When they talk about literacy, uh, main reason for literacy, the most circulated story in the whole world is the story of the rabbinic religious tradition of the Hebrew people, of the Jewish people. Okay. My grandmother's name means Jewish peddler, and Grandma Kramer, my mother's mother. And Richard Dawkins, explains genetics, that it's the consistency of the female that produces the male that's the one that's why it's the Holy Grail and the Ark of the Covenant. Okay. So my grandmother was the line of the Holy Grail, which was my mother's mother, and I'm the male. Okay. That's the one like Adam, Moses, David, Jesus, John discussed in the Holy Quran. Right. It's based on science. It's based on genetics, based on genetic sequencing. What people tried to do was basically kill off and rape out people like me so they could become gods. Get rid of the Wickersham brothers. There'll be no more talking to who are not, right? And so we got to get rid of Parsons because he's a troublemaker. But I'm not the only one. We talk a lot in meditation and prayer. We did when I was young. Not as much. He paid attention. He listened. I always knew he was there. Okay. And when we got into Eckankar, I was like, the Buddha, that's my dude, right? And then when Alan Gibson gave me videos and showed me stuff with Judith Krishnamurti, I was like, why didn't they give this? Why did they give me Twitchell and Gross and Clamp? And why didn't they give me this guy? Why did they have Helen Garrett give my mom Eckankar? Why didn't Helen Garrett know anything about Judith Krishnamurti? Oh, if my mom had gotten Judith Krishnamurti, she was like, I don't understand half the stuff he's studying, but he's brilliant, just like the woman that he was married to. And I would have got him as like, I get him. It's just cool. This is a guy I've been waiting for my whole life. This is the person. He gets me. I get him. He understands what I'm talking about. I understand what he's talking about. Everybody else, what are you talking about? Never mind. And it's interesting, but he knew who I was because of the literature, and he knew genetics, and he, like Saladin with the, and stuff. And so, it's interesting that all these people that technically knew who I was and where I was going to be, but weren't studying me and following me scientifically to try to invalidate me or validate me or whatever. And so the ones that had the most meaning in my life and were most meaningful that I talked to and they talked to because I knew who they were and they knew who I am, is D.T. Suzuki, Sun Yat-sen, because of Confucius and my interest in Asian culture because of my aunt and all other things and stuff that I knew there were different, tigers and lions. Okay, but I've got nothing against, I'm not a human being. I mean, I'm not an animal, I'm a human being. And so I don't see the Japanese people as tigers or the Chinese people as tigers, and I don't see myself as a lion. I see myself as humanoid life forms given life by the glory of God, and we're very similar. We have head and shoulders, knees and toes, head and eyes and ears and mouth and nose, head and shoulders, knees and toes, right? And so I'm like that. I'm not the type of person, well, that part of the, because I remembered that a lot when I was in school. They used to say that about Leah and Carl, they smell funny, they smell different. And I was like, no, they just smell like folks, And to me, because of my migratory patterns and my genetics, black folks are not, Jesus and David are from the middle, David in the Bible. Where's family? From the Nile to the Jordan to the yada yada, right? And so to me, black people were not weird or foreign at all, but to a lot of the white folks that migrated over here with my family type, they were rival gangs and separated for long periods of time. Okay. Where my period of time thing, the adaptation and marrying in was different. Okay. And so I have different genetics, which is why I brown quicker in the sun and don't get red and burn, which is why I'm was the fastest human being on the planet. genetically, I had a lot of traits, those people, you play like a black guy, you do things like a black guy, you do this, And so I had a lot of the genetic traits from the southern migration to the north. And so I was just a little bit different, and which was all right with me, it was all right with me. And if you look at Haile Selassie, we have a lot of traits in common physiologically, where like Steve Biko and Nelson Mandela or Patrice Lumumba look differently than we do. Okay, I look more like Haile Selassie in a lot of ways than Steve Biko or Patrice or Marcus Garvey, right? Okay, but people, they're black people, but me and Haile have similar genetic traits that look more alike than Marcus Garvey does with Haile Selassie. Do you understand? Okay, it's just Haile Selassie's brown and I'm peach. Okay, Patrick, mommy's brown, daddy's peach, mommy's brown, and I'm tan, right? So it's just one of those things, So I've been and like Judah said in some of his talks, I've been working on this for friends and family and loved ones in prayer, all my life, and especially over the last 10,000 years, So life's eternal, grace is infinite. All my life, right? I'm getting a lot of this because I did that connection to Fordham and then Columbia and stuff, and I'm getting a lot of connections to Max and Emmy's mom, and I was like, we'll be friends. We'll be friends. I'm going to focus mainly on trying to rapidly get this done to get Patrick's and Andre's and Uriah's and all the kiddos' mommies out of, not out of Phoenix, but just off Phoenix. And then for people that have, we're going to radically change the ecosystem. No, what are those lazy Susan things? What the fuck is that? A river, a chlorine river. That's wonderful for the ecosystem, you fucking retards. There's a lot of stupid people. They're not just in Texas, they're in New Mexico too. Well, trust me. It's when I sat and watched those ladies on the I've Had It, and they're talking all this crap about J.B. Vance and his wife and these people that are Indian and Hindu. It's like they're not. That's a corporation from sexual tribalism. This person's from a corporation from sexual tribalism that wants to invest in similar investments to these people that aren't in the same sexual tribalism and corporation as they are. And you're like, oh, son of a bitch, these two crazy blondes. They're as bitchy. They're as bad as watching the Ingraham Angle, right? They all sit there smirkety, snicker, smirk, snicker, smirker, snicker, smirk. Here, give yourself a Snickers. You're not yourself when you're hungry. I prefer Elton John songs to those rap songs too. Yeah. Bernie's an excellent songwriter. I think so too. Okay. Think he's Hindu? Just kidding around. You're funny. Get back, honky. No, go back to your red white ways. It's not healthy living in the city. Living in the city is not where it's at. That's where people go to die. You need to listen to some Jimmy Rogers when he goes, yeah, where else? Everybody, come on. Out of Southern Illinois. Is a down home country boy, gonna make it in the city, playing guitar in the city, oh, right. Oh, he hadn't been there now when he met a Broadway flower. Well, she took him for his money and she left him in a cheap hotel. Well, it's easy for you to see that country boy is me. Don't you love that song? Hello, mom and dad, I had to call collect, 'cause I ain't got a cent to my name. I've been sleeping in the hotel doorway, 'cause tonight they say it's gonna rain. And if you'd only send me some money, I'll be back on my feet again. Sending care of the Sunday mission, box number 10, right? The reason why Max and Emmy's mom, 12 in one room in America, ended up in New York is because if you try to go live out in the country and you're Puerto Rican, like what happened with the Vincents and the Vincent Plantation and that book that I wrote that I never finished at Morgan Freeman University. Shut up. I ain't trying to make money off nothing. But the Vincent Plantation, and then Fred told me the story, and then they won the land that Mr. Vincent left them, okay? But the white people said, sure, give them the land, but we'll put in no utilities. We won't use any tax money to get plumbing, utilities, nothing. So it'll just be pure, straight wilderness. You can have your land, but it's not going to have any modern conveniences, and they're not going to be supported by taxpayers in the state of, I think it was Maryland, right? And you're like, or it's Virginia or Maryland, one of the two. And you're like, son of a bitch. It was horrible, okay? The Mr. Vincent was a good Christian and left all the slaves his plantation and this and that and that. And then all the white people came in and said, you can have the land. It's just going to be like living in a thing on TV, Naked and Afraid. Right? Survivor. Here comes Charlie Parsons and Probst. Okay, now you got to eat your shoes. And then we'll give you $1 million. But you have to move somewhere where you live next to Marley's because we don't want you living next to us because we don't want you having sex with our daughter. But I bet you the grandkids will be cute, right? Do you understand? Okay. So stop being stupid. No, don't be stupid. And remember, we fuck shit up. The Ash to Mount St. Helens goes all the way around the world, assholes. And it's a horrible summer. It was a horrible summer. It was terrible. We were in Dillon, Montana. It was about June 6th. Okay. It was noon. It was 34 to 32 degrees. And the air was not, oh, it's crisp. And no, it was volcanic ash. And it was overcast. And it was stifling. And you didn't have fresh, crisp, clean air coming. It was horrid. Okay. You don't know how not to go back there again. Hurts so bad over where we've been. Do you understand? Ain't too much sadder than this woman and this man needing money to fucking denying the Messiah. You don't deny the Messiah, you stupid liar. Thank you, Judah Krishnamurti, Haile Selassie, DT. Thank you, people. Thank you. Thank you, Menon. Thank you, Esther. Thank you, Ruth. Thank you, Khadijah. Thank you. Not Khadijah, the pretend to be somebody that's, what's her name again? Is it Dawn? I can't remember. Dawn. What is her name again? Queen Latifah. That's her stage name. That's her Engelbert Humperdinck Meagle Stallion. What's her real name again? I'll have to look it up again. I forgot. She's cute. My ex-wife, you had a crush on her. That's because Amy thinks I was like, yeah, she's cute. She's fun. I never seemed to be her type, so I never really had a big crush on her. Like, I always thought Eddie George's wife was, wow, she's good looking. But I never had a big crush on her because she seemed to be more into guys that look like Eddie George, and I'm nothing like Eddie George, right? And then that always backfired on me. It's like, that girl ain't interested in me. Next thing you know, the guy's being a jerk. Wait, you're interested? But I'm with someone else. Son of a bitch, why didn't you tell me? I wasn't interested 6 months ago. You women, you guys are the lovers. You better finally decide. Pick up on one and let the other one ride. I don't think I know. Once we're living the Gospels and the heart of Psalms and the wisdom of Proverbs, we've forgiven debt and trespass and love and eternal faithful peace. Women will be a lot easier to deal with. Men won't be like, that bitch is crazy. It's like, you act like a bitch. What do you expect to act like? A bitch, a crazy bitch. Right. Okay, don't act like a crazy bitch. Then guess what? Wow. She's never been a woman before, but she is now, Barbra Streisand. She is now. Like to touch the man I made just once. Mom did. She took me home in the pickup truck, which noticed Mom has a bigger nose than Dad. Just things you notice when you're a baby. It's totally okay. I did notice that, yeah. Well, it's, Ma had Barbra Streisand's nose. Dad had a smaller nose than Robert Redford. He looked like John Derek. Okay, it's okay, guys. I love you. We'll talk later. Let this load, then go get my hoops up. All right, peace out.